All right, guys, Josh Woodard here again. We're dealing with the alternator on this Dodge Journey here. So the customer called me and told me that her battery was dying. She needed to figure out what was going on. So I came by yesterday. Yesterday was a really busy day, but came by yesterday and I took this belt off after we got it started because it sounded like there was a bad pulley for sure. And let me get a good angle on this, but it's not going to give me a good angle for sure, but you can see it's got a lot of play in that alternator pulley. It's really bad. So we're going to go ahead and replace this alternator. So to get this alternator replaced, the first thing you're going to want to do is get the battery unhooked, and to do that you're going to unhook it right over here because this battery's in a weird spot. So we'll get that unhooked and I'll get back with you. So I went ahead and took the ground free first on this side. I got it underneath here, underneath this little clip, so it won't move anywhere, and some plastic so it's not touching metal. And then I went ahead and removed the hot coming from the battery side. It's inside this glove, that way it don't hit anything while I'm working. So I'll go ahead and get started on this alternator. Up top on this alternator here, if I can get this camera steady, you got this bolt right here. This is a 13 millimeter. We're going to be taking this loose first, and then there's a pulley right there below the alternator. The bolt on that is a 5/8 or a 16 millimeter. You're going to pull that out, completely pull that pulley out, and then it's covering up the bottom bolt right down here, which is another, I think, 15 or a 13 millimeter down here. We'll figure out when we get to it, but we'll have to take all those bolts free. And then on the back you got one clip and you have one nut that holds on the power source, and that's really all there is to it. So once I take the top bolt out, I just spun it right down. You got this clip right here. It's a little red clip. You'll try to push that back to the back, and then you should be able to pinch this and pull out. There it is. And then we got one bolt, one nut right back there in the back. I'll figure out what it is and get back with you. So now we're down here on the bottom of this alternator, and as you can see, you got this one right here, this pulley. It just barely covers that bolt, but you have to get that pulley off in order to get that bolt out. So that's a 5/8 or a 16 millimeter, as I said before. Once we get that out of the way, we should have that 15 millimeter right there, and we'll have it loose and ready to pull out. When you go and pull this pulley off, I like to, before I get the bolt all the way out, I like to pull the back washer back to the front, get everything tight again. That way it all stays in one place. You don't want to lose anything, and you don't want to put this back together wrong. You'll know right away when you do, but just keep it like this. Set it off to the side with the bolt pointing up like that, and you won't have no issues. So on the other bolt here that we having issues with, I went to go start loosening it, and it was so loose by the vibrations of the alternator, I didn't even have to use a tool on this. So let's see what size it is real quick. Let me get you set up if I can. So I believe, yeah, it's actually a 5/8. It's not a 15, so it's a 16 millimeter or a 5/8. And that's how you get the alternator out, guys. Now that everything's loose, you'll just kind of wiggle it out because you got the back bolt that's in there. Then you'll try to find your way up here, which is going to be kind of hard for me to do with the phone in my hand, but we'll try to figure it out for you. There we go. Try to turn around. Yeah. Might be easier just to come out through the bottom. We'll see what we can do, and I'll get back with you and let you know what we did. Okay guys, so we got it out. I just had to flip it upside down and pull it out through that same part in the top. It was just harder to do with one hand. So we got the old alternator out. I'm just going over it, making sure it's the exact same connector up here in the front top. The bottom is the same post. 2-pole connector, everything's the same. I'm about to put it on the car. So the bottom bolt is a pass through. It sits on a slot right down there, if you can see that slot right above the AC compressor. So I'm going to set it on that slot, and I'm going to get it a little snug. I'm going to go ahead and hook up my wiring and put the top bolt in. So I went ahead and sat it down on that groove, spun it up to the top so that I could go ahead and start my top bolt in a few threads. That way it's sitting in place while I put the connector on, and we'll be done in just a minute. So guys, right here is where the electrical connector connects in for the 12-volt positive end. On the old one, it was a 13 millimeter, just like the top. On the newer ones, they're usually a 12, but I'm gonna go ahead and try it with 13 and see what it is, and I'll let you know when I get done. So this is the alternator I took off today. I want to show you. You can spin this pulley, and it does not really much at all turn the insides. Pretty junk.